The story begins in a mysterious world, thousands of meters above the ground, where reaching such a place seemed like an invitation to death. Still, some soldiers risked their lives to reach it. But the next moment, they encountered one of the most dangerous and enormous monsters in the world. Jack felt its presence and immediately hid himself in the water. Then he saw the monster's huge foot in front of him, which scared the nearby sheep away. The monster then caught a sheep and swallowed it raw. Jack was terrified by the horrifying sight. Nearby, a soldier hiding behind a tree turned around to look at the monster, but the monster suddenly snorted and detected his scent. Terrified, the soldier hid behind the tree again. However, the monster continued moving forward with its enormous feet. Holding his breath, the soldier tried to remain still, but he couldn't control himself and suddenly ran. But it was already too late. The monster had spotted him. Without wasting any time, it uprooted the entire tree and threw it aside. The soldier ran for his life, but his short legs were no match for the monster's long strides. The monster quickly caught up with him and knocked him unconscious with a single blow. For the first time, the monster looked closely at the human. It bent down and examined him carefully. Just as it was about to take him away, the captain grabbed his sword and charged toward the monster. With all his strength, he drove the sword into the monster's head. The monster turned around in pain, but the next moment, it casually kicked the captain away. Then it pulled the sword from its foot and picked up both unconscious soldiers to eat them. Jack, who was standing far away, watched everything in horror. At that moment, he realized that coming here had been a huge mistake. Actually, a while earlier, Jack had discovered several magical seeds with the help of a priestess. But when his girlfriend, who was a princess, came to meet him, one of the seeds suddenly came into contact with water and began to grow rapidly. As a result, the entire wooden house suddenly began shaking violently, and strange, terrifying sounds started coming from beneath it. Both of them were scared to death and couldn't even move. Then, suddenly, the ground burst open, and a huge beanstalk tore through the house and shot up into the sky. Seeing this, the princess immediately tried to run away, but a table fell on top of her. Jack rushed forward to save her, but the beanstalk suddenly struck her and threw her out of the house. At that moment, a wooden door suddenly opened, and the princess saw a way out. But as soon as she started running toward it, the beanstalk suddenly blocked the doorway. The princess tried to open the door, but it wouldn't move at all. Seeing this, Jack immediately grabbed an axe and began cutting the beanstalk. But suddenly, the entire house began rising higher and higher toward the sky. At the very last moment, Jack jumped and grabbed the edge of the house. However, the beanstalk was growing so quickly that within seconds, the house had reached thousands of meters above the ground. Jack used all his strength to cut through the beanstalk. As soon as the beanstalk broke, the princess immediately opened the door. But the next moment, the wooden floor beneath her feet broke apart. Despite trying to hold on, she fell from a height of nearly 10,000 meters. Jack slipped through the magical beanstalk and began falling toward the ground. But on the way down, the magical vines slowed his fall slightly, and he eventually landed on the ground and fainted. However, the princess was not so lucky. The magical vines carried her with them to the other side of the sky.